Under the Skin is a chilling, surreal sci-fi film that tells the story of an alien entity disguised as a human woman, played by Scarlett Johansson, as she preys on unsuspecting men in Scotland. This film is eerie, quiet, and mysterious, focusing on mood and atmosphere rather than clear explanations. While it appears simple on the surface, the story hides many layers about humanity, identity, and isolation. Let's dive into exactly what happens in this haunting and unforgettable movie. The movie begins with an unsettling and abstract opening that feels like a mix of creation and disorientation. A black void fills the screen, and we see a series of lights and geometric shapes paired with eerie mechanical sounds, as if some strange machine is at work. The visuals shift and build in an incomprehensible way until finally they take the form of what appears to be a human eye. The symbolism is powerful. This eye represents perception, the act of watching, or perhaps something coming into existence for the first time. The sequence is haunting and sets the tone for what follows, a story that feels alien and dreamlike. From there, we see a mysterious motorcycle rider speeding through the dark, empty roads of the Scottish countryside. The rider retrieves the lifeless body of a woman lying on the roadside and carries it to a remote location. We're not told who this woman is or how she got there. Soon, we meet another woman, the alien entity played by Scarlett Johansson. She takes the clothes from the lifeless woman and, in a cold and mechanical way, begins to dress herself. Standing before a mirror, she inspects her appearance, mimicking humanity, but without any real understanding of what it means. Her movements are deliberate, robotic, as though she's testing the disguise she's been given. She's not human, but she looks human, and that is all she needs to carry out her purpose. What follows is a series of chilling scenes that reveal her methods. She drives through the streets and rural areas of Scotland in a white van, her expression emotionless, her eyes always watching. She surveys men as they walk the streets, some going about their business, others isolated and alone. She's careful, methodical, and incredibly precise. She only approaches men who are vulnerable in some way, those who appear lonely, disconnected, or unnoticed by society. Her tactics are unsettling yet simple. She flirts, asks for directions, and offers them rides. Her voice is soft and pleasant, her demeanor charming, and the men, often caught off guard, willingly get into her van, unaware of the horror that awaits them. The scenes that follow are deeply unsettling. She drives her victims to a remote, abandoned building. Inside, the space is stark and otherworldly. There are no walls or furniture, just an endless black void. It feels like a nightmare. She walks ahead of the men, slowly and deliberately, and as she does, she begins to undress. The men, mesmerized by her beauty, follow her lead, stripping off their own clothes without question. But as they walk, something horrific happens. The floor beneath them becomes liquid. Without realizing it, the men step into this black, viscous substance and begin to sink. Their expressions change from curiosity to panic as they realize what's happening, but it's too late. They're consumed, swallowed whole by the void, and disappear into the darkness. The alien woman, unfazed, calmly redresses and leaves, ready to hunt again. Later in the film, we get a brief glimpse of what happens to these men after they disappear. In one disturbing scene, a man floats, suspended in the liquid void. His body is motionless, and his expression is vacant, as if he's in a trance. Suddenly, his body collapses in on itself, his insides sucked away until nothing remains but an empty shell of skin. It's a shocking, grotesque moment that highlights the alien nature of the woman's purpose. The way the film presents these scenes, quiet, slow, and hypnotic, makes them even more disturbing. There's no violence or gore, just an overwhelming sense of dread and hopelessness. At first, the alien woman seems like a perfect predator. She is efficient, emotionless, and focused. But as the film progresses, cracks begin to form in her facade. She starts to notice the human world in a new way. She observes people laughing, holding hands, and enjoying simple moments together. These small glimpses of humanity seem to confuse her. For the first time, there's hesitation in her actions, as though she's beginning to question her purpose or perhaps feel something. A pivotal moment occurs when the alien encounters a man with facial deformities, Unlike the other men she's targeted, this man is shy, soft-spoken, and deeply isolated from the world. He's hesitant to engage with her, and when he does, their interaction feels different. She doesn't treat him as a target immediately. Instead, she seems to study him. When she eventually takes him to the black void, something unexpected happens. She lets him go. It's as though she's no longer able to follow through with her task. This act of mercy signals a turning point. The alien is changing, even if she doesn't fully understand how or why. After this encounter, the alien woman's behavior shifts dramatically. She abandons her van and begins to wander on foot, aimless and vulnerable. Without her vehicle, she seems lost. She tries to experience human life, but fails. In one unsettling scene, she attempts to eat human food for the first time, a piece of cake at a cafe. She takes a bite, but her body rejects it. She spits it out in disgust, unable to process something as simple as food. Later, she seeks shelter with a kind man who offers her a place to stay. For a moment, it seems like she's trying to connect with him. They share a quiet intimacy, but when he tries to touch her, she panics. Something about the experience terrifies her, as though she's suddenly aware of the limits of her disguise. She can imitate humanity, but she can't truly become human. The final act of the film takes a dark and tragic turn. The alien woman retreats into the wilderness, hiding in a remote forest. There, she encounters a man who at first seems helpful, but quickly turns violent. He attacks her, attempting to assault her. In the struggle, he tears at her skin, and in a horrifying moment, her disguise begins to peel away. Beneath the human facade, we see her true form, a black, featureless, and fragile alien being. It's a striking and heartbreaking reveal. This creature that has spent the entire film imitating humanity is now exposed and vulnerable. The man, horrified by what he sees, reacts with violence. He sets her on fire, and in the film's final moments, we watch as the alien woman's body burns. Smoke rises from her charred remains, drifting into the sky, and the camera lingers on the clouds above. It's a quiet, haunting ending that leaves us with more questions than answers. What makes Under the Skin so powerful is how it turns the tables on us as viewers. At the start, the alien woman is a predator, cold and terrifying. But by the end, she becomes a tragic figure, a creature trying to understand a world she can never truly belong to. The film raises chilling questions about identity, humanity, and what it means to be an outsider. It forces us to confront our own biases and fears, showing that the true horror might not be the alien, but the human world itself. Ultimately, Under the Skin is less about plot and more about feeling. It's a hypnotic, unsettling experience that lingers long after the credits roll. The alien came to Earth, tried to imitate us, and was destroyed for it. In the end, she remains an enigma, a haunting reflection of what lies beneath the surface, under the skin of us all. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.